3.0 out of 5 stars. Decent, but be aware of its limitations. The Toro power curve is not a bad machine for the right situations. At times I've been impressed by its effort, but ultimately my needs were more than it could handle. I give it a mostly positive recommendation, but before buying just make sure you aren't expecting too much from this machine. Living in Wisconsin, we get a lot of snow, and my previous snowblower was a small 18 MTD that handled most everything for 12 years. When it died I was going to replace it with another, but I was intrigued by the positive reviews on the electric models. Of course I never expected it to be as powerful as the gas blower, but I thought it would at least be better than shoveling. Which it is. The assembly is simple. 5 minutes to put the handle on and attach the levers. Then I purchased a 101 2GA extension cord for $40. That's it, you will never need to do or buy another thing for it. True to Wisconsin weather, I had a chance to use it 6 times in the first 3 weeks. The first day was 3 light powder, which the Toro chewed through quite well and probably cut my normal shoveling time in half. The second was 5 of day of crusted day-old snow. The Toro actually worked a little better with this, probably because it had a little more solid substance to it. The third day was a 12 blizzard that left high drifts at the edges. And to be expected, this is where I ran into problems. It was just too much for the Toro to handle, and though I was able to clear most of our driveway, it took a couple hours and a lot of help from my shovel. And to be fair, I'm not judging based on that. It is rated for light snowfall and a max 10 intake, not for replacing a large 2-stage snowblower. It seems very well suited for 3/8 of snow and smaller areas such as patios and sidewalks. Our driveway is APS 1000 SQ Ford, and I think that's probably the most you'll want to do. Thankfully it seems able to throw snow at least 15-20 feet depending on conditions. Many of the reviews on here claim they were able to do 12-16 of snow with it. I'm not saying that's impossible, but I do question if it's worth the time and effort to push it through that much snow. In those cases it's probably necessary to do it in 2-6 layers during and after the snow. My tips for using it are to have a good plan with the extension cord. It is very annoying to keep maneuvering 30 pounds of heavy plastic cord and bending over to move it. I tried to use an S-shaped pattern and kept it on my shoulder, which helped, but the best thing was to have my wife follow behind me holding the cord. True, it's taking 2 people and looks strange, but I was able to clear snow twice as fast. Also, when you are at snow drifts higher than the intake, use a shovel or boots to knock the snow down in strips, and then you can go over it with the blower. It also helps to move slowly in narrow strips to keep the motor from bogging down. It is smaller than I expected, mostly plastic and very hollow feeling. But I'm not overly concerned about its durability/quality. Today's plastics are very strong, and the previous power curve model has over 700 positive reviews and very few complaints of any parts failing. If I had any strength concerns, it would be the metal handle, which seems to flex too easily when pushed with force. The positives: no maintenance or gas/oil. Simple to unpack and assemble. It's very light, anyone can handle it. It's small and easy to store and transport. It's quiet. Think, a vacuum cleaner. History shows it has good build quality and longevity. It quickly clears small to medium snow, probably perfect for areas with light snowfall. Snow is thrown an impressive distance, 10-20, would be good for using on a wood deck or roof. The negatives: it's expensive. Comparable electrics are cheaper and single-stage gas blowers start around $50 more. The wheels are too small. I use them frequently when backing up and often end up dragging it. You need to press the trigger and a small safety button at the same time to activate motor. This can get quite difficult with gloves or mittens on. Tip: I put a small C-clamp to keep the thumb button depressed and it was a huge improvement. The plastic main trigger seems difficult to keep depressed unless you use two hands. The output chute is small compared to small gas blowers. Some clogging but not too bad. It's annoying to work around an extension cord. The metal handle seems a weak point. I worry about breaking it when pushing through deep snow. Don't expect to clear out 12 plus of snow as quickly as a gas blower. It is possible in some cases, but just be realistic. It will take more work. I'm going to try and stick it out with the power curve for the rest of the winter, but next fall I'm probably going to need to replace it with a gas blower. While it wasn't the best fit for me, it is not a bad product. I'm sure there are a lot of places and people that this will be a very good purchase. Just be realistic about its features and what you expect from it. 2-month update: after 2 months the snowblower suddenly stopped working. Pulling the trigger produced nothing. I disassembled the red cover and was disappointed to find the wiring from switch to motor was connected with regular twist-on wire connectors that had come undone. Seems a bad idea with the constant vibrations, so I replaced with waterproof butt connectors. So that was fixed, but I was disappointed that the motor compartment had a lot water in it. The connectors had water in them and the motor armature was wet and the housing had considerable surface rust. I have been wiping it down after use, but it's impossible to avoid water. Maybe it's okay to operate damp, but I'd feel better knowing it wasn't so wet inside. Update: snowblower blade stopped spinning at full power last winter. I suspect it's a loose belt, but I never got around to opening it up and checking. Instead I purchased a 205 cubic centimeters Simplicity single stage blower for $100 more than I paid for this, and it's much better suited for my needs. I do however plan on keeping this for a backup and for its portability. It fits in the back seat of my car. 5.0 out of 5 stars. Excellent product. Have shoveled, bladed, and blown lots of snow in 55 YRS. Last snowblower was Craftsman gas blower that is still working out at the farm. I am 64 and needed something lightweight and powerful that I can pick up and move as I need to. Very easy for one person to assemble. This is the TKT. I just came in from blowing 1 foot of snow on long driveway and sidewalk at home in town, plus the double driveway and corner lot sidewalk of my 91YR neighbor. One pass all the way to the concrete every time. It took me 1 hour start to finish. No clogs and the snow slid off the surfaces of the blower and no snow to clean out of the chute when done. I especially like the directional handle on the chute for snow. It allows a good dispersion of snow at a low angle so one is not hitting the neighbor's windows. The throw distance of the snow is equal to larger snowblowers I have used. I am a widow and have to pay for upkeep on spark plug/gas driven items, and I am converting to electric yard items when possible. The price was reasonable and free shipping was an extra bonus. 5.0 out of 5 stars. I'm not waiting to buy, glad to be back again. I owned a previous Toro 1800 model for probably 7 years, ending in roughly 2000 to 2001. I'd get my driveway cleaned faster and better than my neighbors using their gas units. But, after 7 years, my Toro finally had it and I decided to get me a gas/oil mix snow blower. I ended up with 2 different gas/oil mix units over the past 9 years. One gas snow blower lasted 3 years. I paid about $500 for it. The next one lasted 6 years and is on its last leg. I paid $465 for it. Now, I finally get to go back to a better Toro 1800 model than the prior model that I loved so much, and it is still the same price I paid for my first unit 17 years ago. I'm not waiting to purchase this unit since it is only $299 with free shipping. No way am I waiting. This model has been around a long time. That attests to its popularity, reliability, and greatness. It will clear 10 inches deep, no problem. I've cleared snow over 18 inches deep, no problem. It chews right through the white stuff and tosses it clear off the drive by up to 30 feet. Powerful for an electric unit. And this latest engine is even more powerful. Can't wait. I have cleaned up slushy snow off the street with this unit in the past. Nice clear path along the curb so the mail person can easily drive up to my mailbox in the winter. As convenient as a gas snow thrower can be, for the simple reason you don't have to watch out for an electric extension cord. I can't stand it when the engine jets crud up and I have to get the doggone gas unit tuned for $100 plus. I started straining my oil/gas mixture through my wife's used nylons. A mechanic told me that trick to keep the jets clean from impurities in the gas/oil mix, and that worked well for not needing any further tubes. But, I always dreaded coming up to the next season wondering if the gas unit would start, how it would idle, and how long it would last before dying on a heavy snowfall day. I never had to worry about such things with my past Toro 1800 electric snow thrower. It always started, always ran powerfully, and always did a better job cleaning the driveway than my gas/oil powered units. So I am back for another round with what appears to be a much improved version, and the other model was already great. I can't wait for snow to fall now. I'll be ready. I'll be thrilled. I'll be glad to be the only one, again, in our neighborhood with this powerful electric snow thrower. My neighbors have purchased huge, powerful gas units. Man, do they rev for 1 to 2 seasons. Then, I hear them chugging and choking. I know they don't filter their gasoline through nylon stockings, and then I see them loading these heavy gas hogs into their RVs for the semi-annual trip to the tune-up shop. I will not miss that at all. Reliability, power, efficiency, clean running, no pollution, always starts, always runs, works like a champion workhorse. I am never going back to those messy gas/oil chuggers ever again. Not with this beautiful, electric, Toro back in my garage again. Finally, welcome home Toro. My new Toro arrived on Saturday. Thanks for the quick shipment, Amazon. My new 112 gauge extension cord arrived today. Usually I don't look forward to winter. Now all I can say is, I'm ready, bring it on. Just a note that the shipping box mentions the type of extension cord to get. Use 14 gauge extension cord only to 100. Use 12 gauge extension cord only to 150. I purchased the Pro Power 12 gauge outdoor extension cord by Coleman Cable, Inc. On Coleman's selection guide, it says the 14 gauge gives you 15 amps up to 50 and 13 amps up to 100. According to Coleman, the 12 gauge gives you 15 amps up to 100, whereas Toro says the 12 gauge is good up to 150. I think your safest bet is the 12 gauge 100, but the 14 gauge will probably work just fine up to 100, according to Toro's shipping box stats. A few more weeks and we'll post the results of our first uses with this powerful machine. Wow! Hard to believe it's been 2 years since I last reviewed this snow thrower. I wish I had bad news for the gasoline and oil snow thrower lovers. Now, don't get me wrong. Those gas/oil tune-up beasts have their rightful place in probably 10% of the snowfall driveway cleanings that are needed in the United States. For the other 90% of driveways, this, under $300 shipped, electric snow thrower is ideal. No tune-ups needed. Plug in and go. I just got done plowing out the first significant snowfall in Ohio this evening. 10 to 12 inches of 30-degree snowfall, and you know how heavy that can be. Sweet. Right down to the concrete. Smooth, clean. It even cleaned up the tire tracks packed down on the driveway from our 2 cars pulling in from work earlier. Next, I tackled the end of the driveway where the snow plow threw its buildup from the road. Took care of it out to 2 feet into the street and 15 feet in the street on either side of my driveway. Now, the mail person can drive right up to the mailbox and have plenty of space to pull out. Of course, my driveway is super clean and this puppy is going on its 3rd winter. I did hear my neighbor's gasoline Super Hog snow thrower misfiring a little today, so I'm sure he'll be calling someone to pick it up for a tune-up. Too heavy and huge to fit in his car. Anyway, if my electric snow thrower ever breaks down or it can't do the job, I'll be sure to let you know. Thanks for looking. 4.0 out of 5 stars. The latest Toro 1800 works great. When shopping for a new snow blower, you're likely to be comparing the Toro 1800 with the comparable yet less expensive Snow Joe 622, or similar. As of this writing, the star ratings are fairly close, but with a bit more research, I found people had more trouble with their Snow Joe than I wanted to risk. The latest model Toro 1800, 38,381, has a lightweight plastic body and the required assembly takes literally about 2 minutes. It has a strong 15-amp motor that was able to cut through snow to clear my driveway and sidewalk with ease. One thing to note about the Toro 1800 is that if you do not have the necessary 12 or 14 gauge power cord, a new 100-foot cord will run you $50 or even more. I wouldn't recommend using the standard orange extension cable, as those are generally only good up to 13 amps, but check the little tag on your cable to find out the amp rating. It might be sufficient. It really is a top-end electric snow blower. It does not match up with large, heavy gas-powered snow blowers. For example, it will not blow snow that has been really packed down by a vehicle driving on it, so don't expect it to. On the flip side, you don't have to mess with mixing oil and gasoline or lubricating parts or worrying if it's going to start up when you go out in the cold. The electric motor is instant on. All in all, I'm very happy with this purchase. 3.0 out of 5 stars. Decent, but be aware of its limitations. The Toro power curve is not a bad machine for the right situations. At times I've been impressed by its effort, but ultimately my needs were more than it could handle. I give it a mostly positive recommendation, but before buying just make sure you aren't expecting too much from this machine. Living in Wisconsin we get a lot of snow, and my previous snowblower was a small 18 MTD that handled most everything for 12 years. When it died I was going to replace it with another, but I was intrigued by the positive reviews on the electric models. Of course I never expected it to be as powerful as the gas blower, but I thought it would at least be better than shoveling. Which it is. The assembly is simple. 5 minutes to put the handle on and attach the levers. Then I purchased a 101 2GA extension cord for $40. That's it, you will never need to do or buy another thing for it. True to Wisconsin weather, I had a chance to use it 6 times in the first 3 weeks. The first day was 3 light powder, which the Toro chewed through quite well and probably cut my normal shoveling time in half. The second was 5 of day of crusted day-old snow. The Toro actually worked a little better with this, probably because it had a little more solid substance to it. The third day was a 12 blizzard that left high drifts at the edges. And to be expected, this is where I ran into problems. It was just too much for the Toro to handle, and though I was able to clear